Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Hockey Hacks YouTube channel. Doing our daily DFS and game bets, Bruce, for May 5th. What's going on?
Oh, not too much.
Not a whole lot. Of course. So go ahead. Sorry.
I got my DFS picks in early today, so I wasn't racing like I was yesterday. So
good job. Good. You're ahead of the game.
Ahead of the game for a day.
Awesome. Of course, we are a proud member of the Hockey Podcast Network. And if you haven't listened to our podcast, go ahead and check out the Fantasy Hockey Hacks on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We are the official podcast of Left Wing Lock, your number one source for fantasy hockey intelligence. Bruce, let's talk about last night's game.
Yeah, let's. Which one?
Okay. Well, probably the one you're most anxious about. Tampa, Toronto.
Oh, yes. It was nice to see Tampa come back and take out Toronto. I'm very happy.
Kind of temper expectations a bit. I guess the Cup's not coming back to Canada just yet.
No, they can pause the parade for a couple more days. So,
Hedman was great. $6,900 on DraftKings. He had 1 goal and 3 assists for 39.20 fantasy points.
Very nice.
He came to play last night,
and I didn't pick him.
No, I didn't either. I did take Vasilevsky, and you did as well after our chat yesterday. So $7,700 on DraftKings, which was a bargain. He didn't have a great game, I guess, a 912 save percentage and a 3.00 GAA, but he did make 31 saves. So he came out to around 17.5 points yesterday.
That's all right.
Not too shabby. So obviously the series evened up heading back to Tampa Bay. So we'll have picks for that game tomorrow. Let's move. I should say, first of all, Bruce, you went 4 for 4 yesterday.
I did. It brought me back over 500.
Yeah, I got to give you some props. That's pretty good.
Tonight.
Yeah. There's always another chance to screw up this evening, right?
You bet.
Oh, of course. And nice segue there. So Boston, Carolina. I took Boston, of course, thinking they were going to bounce back, and they're terrible. So there was no bounce back.
They're a little rough for them last night. A little rough.
So Carolina has absolutely owned the Bruins this year. 5-0 going back to the regular season in 2 playoff games. 26 goals for, 4 goals against for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Ouch.
Yeah, not so great if you're a Bruins fan. Sebastian Aho, $6,200 in DraftKings, and Nino Niederreiter, $3,400. Both scored 2 goals and 22.8 fantasy points on DraftKings.
Niederreiter would have been a fantastic ad.
Yeah, he would have. That's some really nice value there. Again, Boston had the better possession metrics. So 59.42 Corsi for, 72 expected goals for percentage, a 66.67 scoring chances for percentage. Still lost this one. I don't know. Baffling. I guess you look at the goaltending, and it does sound like Jeremy Swayman is going to get a chance to start in net tomorrow.
I got to try something, right? It's I don't know if the problem has been Ullmark at all. I think it's just the team in front of him.
Well, I don't think his numbers are great. I didn't look him up, but he was somewhere around, I don't even know. I think he was like an 814 the first game or something, and then this last game was like 870 or something like that. So don't quote me on those numbers, but not great from him given what we saw at the end of the regular season.
No, for sure. He was much better at the end of the regular season.
St. Louis, Minnesota. Your boy, Kirill Kaprizov. Just for anyone who's never listened to our podcast before, maybe you're just coming onto the channel. I like to bug Bruce. He's the president of the Minnesota Wild fan club, particularly Kirill Kaprizov. Big Kaprizov fan.
Not sure if I'm that high up the chain yet, but I am a big fan, yes.
Yeah, for sure. $8,000 in DraftKings. He posted a hat trick yesterday, and he led all players in DraftKings with 42 fantasy points.
Yep, and I didn't pick him.
Darn, eh?
Yeah, I went with Fiala and Boldy instead.
Oh, that's fair. You went for the value picks there.
Yep.
Ville Husso posted a dud, 815 save percentage, a 501 GAA, and a minus 2.26 goals saved above expected. So not a good outing from him.
No, it's Minnesota basically did to St. Louis what St. Louis did to Minnesota in game 1. So that's.
Yeah, and I think we kind of expected to some degree what happened yesterday, right?
This series is going to go 7, and it's going to be a brawl. Like it's
it's going to be a fun series to watch
for sure.
And then, of course, last but not least, our favorite, the LA Kings versus the Edmonton Oilers. 5-on-5 play was much better for the Oilers. They had 3 goals, 5-on-5, and just gave up 1. So that's not too bad there. They scored 1, 4 on, so they didn't give up any goals. They had a shutout. 1 goal scored on shorthanded was what I meant to say there. So,
very nice.
Yeah, they came back, and that's a response. That's the kind of response you wanted to see from the Edmonton Oilers last night.
Absolutely, because we were a little concerned after last year, right? That game 1 loss, and then the first period. I didn't catch the whole game. I just caught up to the end of the first period, and I was a little nervous going into the first intermission, but I didn't get to see or listen to the rest of the game. But woke up this morning, it's like, yes,
yeah, that's a big win for Oilers fans, no question.
Absolutely.
Like I said, possession numbers 5-on-5 were good. So 61 Corsi 4 percentage, 66 expected goals 4 percentage, and a 61.11 scoring chance 4 percentage. They won a special teams battle. They were 2 for 4 on the power play, 4 for 4 on the penalty kill. They're now 100% through 2 games on the PK.
That is fantastic. That's what you need.
Absolutely, you do.
A lot of these times, special teams is the decider, and if you can do that, you're a leg up for sure.
And Mike Smith bounced back after that gaff in game 1 that everybody was talking about. There was, question marks. Do you start Koskinen in game 2? And I'm glad they stuck to their guns.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think, and Smith on that play in game 1, I think he was just trying, like you said, he was trying to make a play, right? But it's
wrong time to try and make that play.
Wrong time to do it. But you take that part out. He was fantastic for them in game 1, so it was a no-brainer they restart him.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, we hit on a couple prop bets in the Oilers game yesterday. So we had Leon Draisaitl over 3.5 shots on goal, plus 125. Leon Draisaitl scores plus McDavid gets 2+ points. That was a plus 275 prop bet. So we did some good things there. We hit a couple other as well. I think we had Kirill Kaprizov at plus 1.5 points, and that was plus 175. And Mitch Marner. I think we had Mitch Marner at plus 1.5 points at plus money too. So
nice.
Some good things there. But let's move on quickly here to May 5th game. So obviously we got Pittsburgh and New York. I'm going to kick off our presentation here, Bruce, because why not?
Absolutely.
So here we go. Pittsburgh and the Rangers. Obviously got Pittsburgh plus 140 on the money line and minus 160 on the money line for the Rangers. I know for me, Bruce, I'm going to go back to the well on this one. I'm going to go to the Rangers again. I believe you're the same if we got our picks right today.
I'm the same. It sounds like Pittsburgh is going to be on their 3rd string goalie who did well in mop up basically duty for him in game 1. But yikes, I don't know. That's your 3rd string goalie, and I tough time picking the Penguins on this one.
Yeah, no question. I mean, they said DeSmith actually is unlikely to return to the series now, according to Frank Saravalli.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like he's done. So it's basically Domingue, like you said, and then their 3rd or 4th string guy is going to back him up. So
wow.
Jari could return later in the series, they said.
Pittsburgh has no luck with goalies in playoffs the past 2 seasons. No luck.
No, this is a big blow for that team.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to be interesting to see how the Rangers do 5-on-5. I was just looking at some of their possession numbers here again as well. So last game, 5-on-5, the Rangers had a 43 Corsi 4 percentage. They had 1 5-on-5 goal, and they had 3 against 5-on-5. 36% scoring chance, 4 percentage. Like they just kind of got owned 5-on-5, and they relied on special teams, and they relied on Igor Shesterkin.
I think that's been at certain points through the season too. It was much the same. It's like they were bleeding scoring chances, but Shesterkin was stopping them, so they just kept doing it. Right? I think they cleaned it up a bit close to the end of the season, but it looks like they're reverting back again. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are some things to like about the Penguins in terms of DFS or even some prop bets, because they are still putting some pucks the nets and creating opportunities. Some areas of concern, like I said, I would bet on Kreider's advantage at Fox and Shesterkin as a stack tonight. That's someone to look at.
Yep.
Some game notes here. Zucker is a game time decision, and Rickard Rakell is out. So,
that's going to hurt too.
Yeah, a couple more things working against the Penguins, and I think that was reflected in the betting line. So, there we have it. Next up, we got Washington and Florida, plus 225 on the money line for the Capitals, minus 275 on the money line for Florida. There was some movement on the line here today. It was inching more towards Florida in their favor in terms of the betting odds. I think that's because Tom Wilson is out for this game. He's day-to-day.
That's a big plus for the Panthers. Big plus.
Absolutely it is.
That's a big physical presence that's not going to be there anymore.
That's right. That's
right.
For
tonight, anyway.
Yeah. Claude Giroux is going to get moved down to the third line with Lundell and Marchment. Giroux's at $4,600 on DraftKings, so some nice value there. Lundell and Marchment are actually really nice too at $3,100 and $4,100 respectively. Sam Reinhart gets a look on the second line with Bennett and Huberdeau. So
nice.
Yeah, he's a guy. Actually, I'm looking at that. That's a nice stack too. If you can go back to the second line there with Huberdeau, Bennett, and Reinhart, some value to be had there. Florida needs to win the special teams battle. They were 0 for 2 on the power play in game 1, and conversely, the Capitals went 1 for 3. The Panthers broke even 5-on-5 despite being outchanced. So they, yeah. So surprisingly, the shots were 49% for in favor of the Capitals. That was their number for Florida, and then it was a 44 expected goals for percentage, 46.51 scoring chance for percentage for the Panthers. So they're getting outchanced right now, at least in that first game. Surprisingly,
I was surprised.
That all being said, I'm still going with Florida to even up this series in game 2. And
yeah, I'm thinking Florida is going to come out screaming. They're going to come out screaming tonight.
I believe you are correct. So they made some adjustments to their lines, and they still got home ice advantage here, so they're going to take advantage, I think.
That team is so well balanced. It's just, like I said, it's hard to believe they lost the first game, but there's just so much firepower there. It's just that they can't bottle it up for too long, and something's got to give.
Yeah, I agree. And still, the goaltending is a concern for the Capitals, right? I mean, Vanacek was good in game 1, but based on the track record of both goaltenders for Washington this season, that's got to be a concern for you.
Yes.
Nashville, Colorado. Next matchup here. Plus 280 on the money line for Nashville. Minus 360 on the money line for the Avs. They're obviously a heavy favorite here. I'm going back there for the Avs. They blew out Nashville in game 1. Bruce, I believe you are the same. Yep.
Yeah, it's. I'm hoping this is going to be picking Colorado to win, but I'm very curious to see what Nashville's response is going to be. Is if Colorado comes in and blows them out again. I'm hoping there's more pushback from Nashville in this one, but I need someone to stop the puck. And I don't know. Do we know who's starting tonight? If it's Ingram or Rittich?
Yeah. Word is that Connor Ingram is starting here for Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah,
because he did well in relief for Rittich in game 1. They didn't get too many past him after.
Yeah, I mean, and a team, they're going to tighten up in front of a young goaltender too, right? Nashville. Yep. So, in terms of DFS tonight, I mean, obviously that top line stack for the Avs, their big guns are going to be heavily sought after.
Yep, I did.
Part of the problem is, but they're going to be expensive and they're going to be rostered by a lot of teams. So I'm kind of suggesting look at guys like Nichushkin, Landeskog, Nazem Kadri, and Devon Taves. All those guys have some value. Landeskog, Kadri, and Makar as a stack would work. You're getting the full, all those guys are on power play 1. And I actually set that as a stack in one of my rosters, and I was still able to fit in the Calgary stack of Lindholm, Tkachuk, and Rasmus Anderson.
Oh, wow.
With Igor Shesterkin and net as well. So, a bit of a value play there, but that's kind of what I'm thinking for tonight in this game.
Yeah, I went full Colorado, so I had to be a little more creative with my lineup.
Fair enough. Yeah, you would need to be, but I mean, there's no reason to shy away from Nathan MacKinnon, Rantanen, Makar, even Kemper in goal, right? Those are kind of guarantees. Yeah. The Avs were dominant 5-on-5. We know that. They had 4 goals, 4-1 against. The Preds, they needed to play physical, but they need to try and stay out of the box because Colorado was 2 for 5 on the power play. So if they give the Avs opportunities, they are going to cash in.
That power play is lethal.
Yeah. And then last game of the night, we've got Dallas and Calgary. So the Stars are plus 195 on the money line and minus 240 on the money line for Calgary. I'm taking Calgary again. They're built for playoff hockey, and I think they've outmatched the Stars here.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to take Calgary too, but I think this series is going to be a little closer than I had originally anticipated.
Yeah, it looks like some tight checking hockey. And I looked at it. 5-on-5, there were no goals scored, right? The one lone goal that was scored was on the power play by Elias Lindholm.
Yeah.
Calgary they did dominate 5-on-5, but they just didn't cash in, right? So I expect probably more of the same for game 2 here. So I'd be surprised if the game broke open. But, I mean, Ottinger's going to have to be good again. He had a .962 save percentage and a 1.02 GAA. They'll need the same effort from him again tonight if they're going to have any hope of winning.
Yep, for sure.
Well,
and they got to put in Dallas. They got to put the puck in the net, right? They need Hintz, Robertson, Sagan,
Pavelski.
Man, they need someone to step up and put the puck in the net. You can't win if you don't score.
That's right. And they got to cash in on the power play because the power play went 0 for 5 the other night.
And they I watched the highlight. They had a 3-on-2 that Hintz just missed the outside of the post.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. If you get that chance, you got to cash it in because you're not going to get that many of those chances against Calgary.
Dallas is going to push tonight, but I still like Calgary here on the money line.
Yeah, me too.
All right, records to date. So both you and I, Bruce, now are sitting at just shy of 60%, 7-12 through the first 3 days of the playoffs.
I'm above 50%. Yes.
Yeah. So let's hope we can go another 4 for 4 tonight.
That would be nice.
Improve that record a little bit. Let's talk about some prop bets. Obviously, we're taking a little longer here than we'd like to, but prop bets, player special. So Nathan MacKinnon, Rantanen, and Makar to combine for 6+ points at +400. I like that as a prop bet. Makar and MacKinnon both combined for 6 points and 3 goals on Tuesday themselves. So you add Rantanen into the mix. I think 6+ points is doable.
I think so.
And then Jake Guentzel to score and Sidney Crosby to record 2 points. Again, Guentzel scored twice and Crosby had 2 assists on Tuesday. So at +450, that's a pretty juicy prop bet I'm willing to take a chance on.
Yeah, for sure. That's a nice one to go.
Shot props, we got Jake Guentzel over 3.5 shots on goal per game or for the game, +135. He's averaging 3.57 shots on goal since March 1st. And Sam Reinhart over 2.5 shots on goal, +130. He's averaging 2.38 shots on goal since March 1st. But given that he's moved up to the second line with Bennett and with Huberdeau, and he's playing on the top power play unit, I think that's a safe bet as well at plus money.
Sounds like it.
Goal props, Cale Makar, anytime goal scorer at +180. He's got 3 goals in his last 5 regular season games against Nashville, and he scored on Tuesday night as well. If you're really feeling brave, Bruce, +1,500 for first goal scorer.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. So maybe put a little sprinkle on that, as Tyler would say. All right. Getting into DFS picks. I've got the center I like tonight is Elias Lindholm at $6,000. That's just good value. He has been fantastic for the Flames. Sam Reinhart, I've talked about him a couple different times now, but at $4,400 in DraftKings, he is a value pick I like as well. Cale Makar, obviously, for just obvious reasons. And then Igor Shesterkin has been fantastic. He is the highest salary goaltender on the slate tonight, but he's also the best in terms of fantasy points per game and what he's shown. So,
and could very well be the busiest.
Absolutely. And then for the stack tonight, like I mentioned earlier, I like Gabriel Landeskog, Nazem Kadri, and Cale Makar. I think that just allows you some flexibility in other areas of your roster if you want to try and get another stack like the Calgary stack or something else. Bruce, take it away.
And me, I went Colorado, so I with Nathan MacKinnon center, 8,900. I believe he was the most expensive one in DraftKings. Winger Andrew Kopp, he put in a goal here in game 1, so nice value pick there. Cale Makar again with MacKinnon in Nashville. I'm expecting them both to put up some points tonight. Shesterkin and net, as I mentioned before, he's going to be busy.
Yep.
And last player I is Blake Coleman. A bit of a value pick, and well, I didn't have a whole lot of money left after the previous setup lineup. So, but too decent value for Coleman as well, being I think he's on the third line.
And he's shown in the past he can perform in the playoffs. So
he sure can.
And generally, shot volume is good, hit volume is good. Some good things to offer there from Blake Coleman. And then for the stack, you went MacKinnon and Makar.
Yeah, sorry. Yep. Stack with MacKinnon and Makar.
Spend
For
up,
sure.
people.
Spend up. Yeah. It's a little tough when you spend up and try to find, where am I going to find a player?
Oh, you got to get those value picks, like you said, a guy like Blake Coleman. So that does it for today. We're a few minutes over, but be sure to subscribe to our social media channels on Twitter at FH Hacks, on Instagram at Fantasy Hockey Hacks. Excuse me. If you haven't listened to the podcast, check out Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to visit the website, fantasyhockeyhacks.com. If you're going to sign up for DraftKings, use our promo code THPN. And that does it for today, Bruce. So thank you. We'll be back again, same time again tomorrow.
Sounds good. We'll see you then.
Take care, my friend.